gosh. I thought I wasn't gonna make it. Testing, testing, 1, 2. That's insane. So this is an actual connection issue. Yeah, looking at my kilobits per second. Yeah, okay. So looks like everything is back up. Everything in my, everything just wanted to update real quick, which is definitely convenient. The wrong watch list. Which watch list is it? What? Okay. Hmm. Guess I can't find my watch list here. Okay, it is what it is. Let's just work with this. All right, man. I'll tell you what. Horrible time for everything to update. All right, so let's look at what we got this morning. Leading the day looks like KZR up 37%. Looks like it had a gap and kind of going flat up here. XRTX, only $1 something. CREV, CREV. I don't know if any of these, I don't even know if the catalyst is going to matter today, to be honest. Testing, testing. Okay. Oh man, I got new sounds and everything. Oh boy. Yeah, they added some things here. CISS, don't know what that is. Oh, I know what I was going over. So I was actually I was actually going over my losses on this month. That's what I was doing. So losses we had popped over here. And you remember when I told you that Wednesday was a really bad day for me? Well, yeah, this month has proven that point. I don't know what goes on those days. Pretty much the other days I can manage risk pretty well. Sometimes I get overconfident on Wednesdays. Like I know it's a day that I don't do well, and I'll just hold. And so that's what happened on the first day. 369, then popped back up the next day, made it back. 16, made that back the next day. 69, and then I made that back yesterday. 69, but I was trying to. It didn't really give me the actual price that I saw because I literally was hitting the button when I saw it at this point, so I could just make that back. But did make that back, green on the month and all that stuff. Just moving on up with this pre-market trade. For the most part, majority of my trades have been pre-market trades. So, just seeing that I can actually be green during pre-market is pretty cool. But yeah, we're gonna see if we can continue to do this and play defense on the days that we need to, and put our best foot forward. Uh, Looking over here at Yahoo Finance, we got Wall Street credit worries intensify after Diamond's cockroach warning. Investors fled shares of regional banks and an investment bank tied to the bankruptcy of an auto parts maker on Thursday. Okay, that's a lot to read. I don't think people are gonna be reading all into that. Um, okay, so let's go look around here. U.S. bank stock, AI. Oh, we were talking about AI. We were talking about Bitcoin. We're talking about rich folks continue to spend money as poor folks are pulling back, and supply and demand. That's what we were talking about. Okay. So over here, another thing I was looking at was Bitcoin. Taking another little dip, which I'm okay with. I hope it dips a little bit more so I can add to positions. But yeah, no worries there. Went up to almost 126 and came back down, but that's just a normal trading range. That's not really something horrible. I can understand if it went from 100 down here to 58. Okay, that would be like, oh, okay, that's let's just buy everything. Let me sell the house and buy Bitcoin. But anyway, let's see what they're talking about out here.
By another 25 basis the end of this month. Hey there, Josh. That's right. Fed Governor Chris Waller saying that he favors cutting rates by another 25 basis points at the end of this month. But after that, he wants to take more of a cautious approach, implying that he may want to hold rates steady and wait and see depending on how the data comes in. Waller saying that right now we have conflicting data telling a mixed picture. On the one hand, you have weaker job data. On the other hand, you have strong economic GDP growth. Waller saying in a speech earlier today in New York, quote, something's gotta give. Either economic growth softens to match a soft labor market or the labor market rebounds to match stronger economic growth. Since we don't know which way the data will break on this conflict, we need to move with care when adjusting the policy rate to ensure we don't make a mistake that will be costly to correct. And of course, the government shutdown is complicating the picture for the Fed. They don't have that all-important September jobs report, nor do they have retail sales. And inflation data has been delayed as a result of this shutdown. They're not going to get that until the end of next week. As a result, Waller says he is relying on contacts on the ground and private sector data. And given what he has seen and heard, he thinks that the job market has deteriorated over the past month or so. At the same time, he says consumer spending appears to have held up from retailers he has spoken with. Now, Waller's words of caution come just after President Trump's newest appointed Fed Governor Stephen Miron said that he wants to cut rates by 50 basis points at the end of this month. He thinks that renewed trade tensions pose a risk to the economic outlook. Miron's less concerned that tariffs are going to contribute to inflation, and thus he wants to get to a level of neutral on interest rates. That's a level that's designed to neither spur nor slow growth faster than his colleagues. And this emerging division amongst the doves on the Federal Open Market Committee comes as Waller, who seemed to be that leading voice for cutting rates going as far back as this past summer, now appears to be sort of stepping back a bit from that stance, just as he is on the short list of Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent's consideration to be the next Federal Reserve Chair. Josh?
And Jen, while we have you, we got new data on the U.S. deficit this afternoon. What do we know?
That's right, Josh. The U.S. deficit actually fell the U.S. deficit was nearly $1.8 trillion or 41 billion or 2% lower from fiscal 2024. And that deficit to GDP number fell to 5.9% from 6.3% for fiscal 2024. That's thanks to a 6% increase in receipts, but also a 142% increase in customs, the bulk of which comes from President Trump's tariffs. So the U.S. collected nearly $200 billion in tariffs for the fiscal year ended September 30th, 2025. Now, interest on debt hit a record for another year. That was up 83 billion or 7% higher to $1.2 trillion for the fiscal year. Meanwhile, for the month of September, the U.S. clocked a monthly record surplus of 198 billion. That's nearly 150% higher than last year, thanks to higher tax collections and record tariffs. At the same time, though, corporate tax collections were down 41% because of changes in the new tax bill that allow corporations to take deductions.
All right. So yeah, Bitcoin seasonal trends. I'm going to pause before it comes back on. Pause this. Yeah. All right. So let's jump back over here. So this was the watch list that I was trying to show y'all earlier. Right now, leading the day is XRTX, and then we got KZR, Acon, SGBX, Crev, and so when I'm coming into pre-market, I'm literally only looking for low floats. Like if it's not a low float, I'm okay. I'm okay not trading those. Looking for low floats. If it's earlier in the week, the catalyst is king. If it's later in the week, it's kind of like you just gotta find the momentum. You know what I'm saying? Monday morning, I'm like, yay, where is the catalyst? Tuesday, where is either a catalyst or a continuation of a catalyst? Wednesday, that's when I get cooked. Thursday, most of the times it's either a continuation or something close, like a sentimental mover to the Monday, Tuesday catalyst. Then Friday is a sell-off day, so it's kind of just got to play the backside of moves or something like that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens today. The other thing is I've been making a consistent average of 30 cents per trade. So, I'm still not trying to drop the ball as far as dropping the criteria on Friday just because something is cheap. I still want it to be able to pay me that 30 cents even on Friday. So, looking for something that has that range and so I can capitalize, get a little bit on Friday. But if I don't see it, it's no rush. All right, so let's go ahead and look through that watch list that I had up there. So leading the day is XRTX, little cheaper one. Let's just see what this company is. XRTX. XRTX is XHort TXT. Let's see. TX or XOR TX. All right, so this is a therapeutics company, late stage clinical pharmaceutical company, engages in the development and commercialization of therapies to treat gout and progressive kidney disease. Its drug development programs include XR26 and all of this stuff. The company is Canadian, out of Calgary, Canada. Okay, so we know that the topics from this week, starting on Monday, was AI and batteries. Then we saw a surge of things that were close to battery production. We saw minerals and all that kind of stuff come on Tuesday. Wednesday, yeah, it wasn't that much. It was momentum, but it just wasn't clear momentum. A lot of drops and dumps. Then on Thursday, we got a resurgence, and I got a trade back on topic, which was a mineral AP. What was it? What did I trade? AQMS. Yeah, the mineral company. They had, they had all the things to make batteries, or some of the things to make batteries. So I ended up traded that. Okay, so let's jump to the next thing. See if anything is close to the topic first that is up. So KZR is the next one. Is anything on topic? Then if it's not on topic, then the next thing we look for is the momentum. And then volume. Kevlar Life Science, or not Kevlar, Kezar Life Sciences Inc., a clinical stage biotechnology company, engages in the discovery and development of novel small molecule therapeutics to treat unmet needs in immune-mediated diseases in the United States. The company's lead product candidate is that word, a selective immunoproteasome I don't even know, man. Inhibitor for various indications, lupus, myositis, all this. All right. So let's see. The treatment of tumors resistant to traditional chemotherapeutics. Okay, so a little bit of cancer, but is it on topic? Not really. We'll see if it catches any flame. Next one, Acon, AKAN. Acon. Type that in right. Yeah. Okay, so not seeing much for this description. It was acquired by First Towers Fiber Corp in a reverse merger. I don't even know why that's up 26%. I'm just looking at their profiles right now, and I'll see what kind of news they have over here. So let's see. What about Crev? CRB? I'm gonna check out Rainy real quick. It says Rainy he says Rainy RANI has big news. Let's go look at that. Crev is just Carbon Revolution Public Limited Company, manufacturing cells, carbon fired. All right, let's go jump to Rainy. RANI. All right, so Rainy made a move from under 49 cents. Okay, so that means what are the halt levels? These halt levels are gonna be crazy during the open if it does try to make a move up. I think it's like every, what is it? I forgot the percentage that the halt levels are. If it opens up, if it would previously close under 75 cents, what the halt levels are, I know it's pretty tight. So we're definitely gonna have to look out for that on this type because it's gonna have some tight halt levels on the open. Let's go to do some more research on Rainy. Oops, Rainy. What kind of company are you? Rainy Therapeutics. So it says Rainy Therapeutics Holdings Inc. operates a clinical stage biotherapeutics company focusing on technologies to enable the administration of biologics and drugs orally for patients, physicians, and healthcare systems with an alternative to painful injections in the United States. The company develops the Rainy pill capsule, a drug agnostic oral delivery platform to deliver a variety of drug substances, including, oh boy, here goes the words. Okay, this word, peptides, proteins, and antibodies. Its product pipeline includes RT102, a parathyroid hormone that is in phase 1 clinical trial for the treatment of osteoporosis. A couple other ones, antibodies in preclinical studies, parathyroid hormone. Okay, so where's this? This is out of San Jose, California. This one was founded in 2012. So let's go look at the daily chart. And oh, before we do that, what's the float on this? The float is looking like 33.62 million, which is why it's not on my scanner. A little bit higher float there. Let's go ahead and jump out there to the daily chart on Rainy. Or did I switch this thing over to daily chart? I did not. Let me switch that. Switch over to here. Okay. And make that smaller. Let's go to the daily chart. Okay, Rainy, what you got going on? So we had opened up 2000. Well, looks like it IPO'd. It was founded in 2012, but it looks like the data goes back to 2024. Ripped up here, came on down, went down to a low of 39 cents. It actually closed yesterday at 47 cents and is now had this big gap here. So definitely got to take that into account. So it had this gap from 70 cents to 49 cents. And we will edit this and call this a high-low gap. So let's see. This is the lower portion. Lower daily gap. Okay, lower daily gap, and then the high portion of, I just go with the body. I mean, I could come down here to this point, but I don't know. You know what? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm going to do. It did feel this little, whoops, did feel this little gap. I'm just gonna go out to the where the war zone went to. Okay, so we got lower gap, higher gap, and we will edit this and call this higher gap, daily gap. Okay. So yeah, we got a higher lower. It had a point here, 63.88. So it broke over all this. So this is a peak. We'll go ahead and put 87 cents up there as a peak. I'm trying to rename this. Give me my option to rename. There we go. So this is a daily peak. Okay. And let's back that on up. So further back, let's see, it went up to 150. So it went all the way up here to, I don't know. Nothing looks obvious here in the short term. Let's see, this is from 2025 February, and just kind of up here into somewhere. No obvious peaks or anything out here. The next obvious one is up here to the 190. It went up to 150. So let's go ahead and mark that up. We'll go ahead and add, duplicate that all the way up here. So yeah, higher float. Maybe a grinder on a day. I mean, like you said, it's got good news. For me, I'm more along the lines of something that's moving a little bit faster. But I mean, you got to still remember it is Friday. So you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt if it can rip or not. We'll see. Or if it's going to be something that's going to throw a lot of wicks. But either way it goes, point of control over here on the 1 minute is looking like 118. Point of control on the 5 and 15 minutes are looking like 117 to 112. So like, let's see, 118 down to 112. I guess we can mark that up for you. To 112 down here. It's kind of where it's bouncing anyway, but we'll see how it does. I'm not going to trade it. I'm going to wish you good luck on it, but I'm just going to say, you know, if you have a strategy for these types that move kind of slower but have the potential to move up, hey, let go and see what happens, man. It's up 135% with 67 million shares traded. Heavy. Now for this price, that is some heavy trading. So, you know, we could see this thing reach, you know, 200 million shares and be a very, you know, thickly traded stock. Like every time it pops up, shorts hit it. Every time it pops down, longs buy it. Every time it pops, so I don't know how smooth the movement is going to be on it. With it being this price and with it having that ability to be popped up and popped down like that, and having tight halt ranges is going to be another thing that's going to affect it a lot. So I take all that into consideration when trading it. Yeah. And I don't even know if you're already in it or what, but I would take all of that into consideration. Anyway, for the low floats, XRTX still up 38%. Exactly. Need that range to get paid. And I'm looking around. I don't see any low floats, but this one went up from 101 up to, so that's 77 cents. It had an ATR of yesterday. XRTX had an ATR from yesterday of 5 cents. So I kind of I definitely take ATR seriously. I like to see that ATR spread out at least double my goal. So let's say I'm aiming for 30 cents. I want an ATR at least double that. You know what I'm saying? Something that can pay me out really good, really fast, and, you know, get me there. I'm not looking for a dollar stock to pay me 30 cents, right? The ATR is 5 cents, so I got to be willing to take at least half that. So let's say if I get a 2-cent winner, got to take that 2 cents based on the ATR, because it could turn around and snap down on me. Take the 2 cents, get on out. But yeah. When it comes to trading higher floats, I really haven't been able to nail that down. It's been a lot easier just trading pre-market low flows or even intraday low flows actually. Because I know the trade that I took yesterday on AQMS was during the intraday. It was after the open. I don't know why TOS, or maybe it was because of all these updates that I needed on my computer that didn't happen yesterday. I did a whole live event yesterday, kind of financial business whatever event, and none of that showed up. So I'm glad it didn't yesterday because it would have ruined the ruined the production. But then I wake up this morning, my mouse needed an update, my keyboard needed an update, my computer needed an update, my everything. And I'm like, bro, I'm so glad this didn't happen last night. Oh man. But yeah, we're back on business, and we're already green on the week. So either way it goes, I'm gonna end this week green. I'm not gonna lose $133 today. So and I'm not gonna kill all my profit. I'm just taking a small little steps, winning in pre-market, because for the longest time I was avoiding pre-market like the plague because I didn't have any data. I wasn't trading it. I wasn't trying to figure it out or anything. And it was just kind of like a void to me. I would sometimes get tempted into pre-market because I would be looking and be like, man, that looks great. Let me just press the buy button at the top. And then it will bait me to the bottom and I would end up selling out with a big loss. But, I've got more data now, getting a bigger sample size of what works, what, what days I do the best on, all of that. So, just a learning process off the data. What do I think of IVF? I saw IVF fly up. That was this week, wasn't it? When Trump said he was going to lower the cost of invert in vitro fertilization. Let me go look at IVF here though. I remember it flew up for sure on this day when he did that. And this was what happened on Wednesday. Wednesday, he did a tweet on the soybeans and stuff like that, right? And it went up. I forgot which ticker that was I was trading, but yeah, it went up during pre-market and then crashed out. But he did the tweet on this one during the day, and it popped up. Let me zoom in a little bit. It popped up huge from 90 cents, and of course the halt levels were tight on this, right? Because it closed the close of the previous day. Well, it might have not been. It looks like it might have been over 75 cents there. Okay, well maybe the halts wasn't as tight, but it did have a gap up here to 119 from that 90 cents, which I mean, in all things considered, isn't that much of a gap unless you're holding 100,000 shares, and it gaps up. And then it had a little bit of trading up here to $2, found a top at 2 and continued to get crushed at 2, came back up, tested it. So in vitro fertilization, I don't know. I really don't know. I know that we have an aging population. I know that all of the world pretty much has an aging population, and people are having kids later in life due to economics, due to you know just life, just seeing how life is going for different people, how they're handling debt. The ones that have a kid and then go deep in debt and then have to figure it out. And a lot of people are like, we saw you bump your head. We don't want to do that. We want to get kind of stable and then go for it, Throw some glizzies down the hallway, if you know what I mean. But anyway, over here, I don't know. In vitro fertilization is a weird one. I've seen like the last time we had one that went up on was it was something dealing with Planned Parenthood or something. Wasn't can't remember what it was. Something dealing with birth. Something dealing with birth. I traded it, but I forget what it was. And I made money on it. But the next day, yeah, it plummeted. So I would be careful, man. I don't know. I would do some hard research. Maybe there's some bigger companies you can swing for that type of news, but these tweets, man, these tweets will get you killed. For real. He comes out, he's like, yo, we're gonna make this cheap. But then again, the tweets that he has made have been, like we saw the video, the tariffs, they made like what 200 billion on tariffs, and everybody was like, oh no, tariffs are gonna kill us at first. So it's like, I don't know. It's like a wait and see thing, man. But we can profit on the short term idea. Now, again, if that was the Monday morning news, like in vitro fertilization was the thing on the week, and it was like the topic, then I'd be like, maybe it's gonna resurge. But because it just came kind of like from one person's phone tweet, I'm like, I don't know how much I want to bank on that. I don't know how much I want to bank on that. But yeah, looking around, let's go back over here and see what else Yahoo Finance has. So we had Bitcoin seasonal trends. Boy, it's 732 already. That's crazy. Come on, Bitcoin.
Bitcoin broke out to a new high of 125,000 and change in early October, and it quickly fell back into its old trading range. But guess what? October is historically one of the best months for Bitcoin, so on today's Stocks in Translation, we are taking a look at Bitcoin seasonality and the next potential catalyst for the king of crypto. And just a quick reminder that seasonality refers to those recurring patterns that we typically see year after year. And in this first chart, we're taking a look at each month of the year broken down, and it's 2018 to 2024. Why did we start at 2018? Because that's when we got Bitcoin futures, and that's when Wall Street started taking notice of Bitcoin. If you go back further, you really have a different animal on your hands. But what stands out here is a few really positive months. So that's 18% in July, 11% median in February, and in October, also an 11% median. And I'm using the median instead of the average because that's right in the middle. If I use the average, you tend to get bigger numbers to the top side and then bigger numbers to the downside in the negative.
Good morning, Andre.
But what you're going to notice here too is that after October, November and December, they skew negative. So unlike stocks where you typically get that end of the year rally basically from October through December 31st, not necessarily so in Bitcoin. However, we do have this positive catalyst right ahead of us. And here's another look at the month by month breakdown with win percentage. And what really stands out here is October is 86% positive going back to 2018. And that ties February over here, which was also a good month. And it's a bit bigger than July, which was the best month. So odds are working in the bulls' favor here. And one more thing is that if you break it down on a day-by-day basis, I have the entire year here from January 1st to December 31st, and in white is what the map is telling us. That's, again, the median from 2018 to 2024, and the green 2025 year-to-date. We are right now at the period of time when it historically inflects up. And so the middle of October into the first week of November is a very seasonally bullish time of year. And you can see how some of the swings that we've had in this year, and there was some interruptions, albeit with the post-Liberation Day sell-off, a lot of the recent swings have kind of coincided with the map. So things are definitely working in the bulls' favor right now. We'll have to see what comes of that. And let's take a look at what to watch now, because Bitcoin investors should be paying attention to a number of things. First, we have bank custody of Bitcoin and crypto assets that's starting to roll out right now. The SEC gave the green light on that way back in January, but banks have lots of regulators. They tend to move slowly. So many investment advisors have been waiting for the safety of bank custody, so watch out for these press releases from some of the biggest players. Then, number two, the ghost of Mt. Gox still haunting the blockchain.
Hold up. Gotta hit the pause button on that. TAOP just popped up. It is up 18%. It was looking like it was shooting at first. I saw it shooting here. It's got a little bit of news on today. What does this say? Tao Ping signs a letter of intent to inquire. Come on now. Yeah, they got a letter of intent. It says it bolsters its AI-driven digital ecosystem. I mean, maybe people will come over there and try to get it up. It's only 500,000 shares right now. on TAOP. Hit a high up here of 410. Well, it might go back up. I don't know. But anyway, I saw it pop up. Just wanted to get eyes on it real quick. It's up 24%. Very low volume. The top volume mover right now is XRTX with 47 million shares traded. But I mean, TAOP is not playing. TAOP is making some moves, and we'll see if any kind of structure forms or whatnot. But yeah, it's coming on up. Let's look at the daily chart on TAOP as it's coming up. Kind of, I mean, it's got AI, AI in its news, but a letter of intent, I don't know. That's looking kind of sketchy. Closed at 284 yesterday. Let's look for some peaks here. So we had 341. And let me clear this. Actually, before I go into all that, let's go look at where the actual. You know what? No, let's go ahead and look at the daily chart because I want to finish that Bitcoin. But actually, you know what? Y'all got eyes on it. Y'all see it. Y'all, we'll come back to this. It's at the highs anyway. And I mean, nobody real that's trading is buying up here anyway. So we're gonna finish this video real quick.
Way back in 2014, the world's largest crypto exchange failed spectacularly, and most of the confiscated coins has been distributed back to the owners, but we're finally up against a hard deadline on Halloween, October 31st. How fitting. There's a small chance that some whales could emerge and dump their new holdings after getting repaid, but that's just a small risk. Then, in the spring of 26, the IRS is rolling out new tax forms to report crypto sales. It's going to be a little bit more of a burden for crypto traders, and there could be a few jitters around tax day, but it's still a pretty small risk. You do have to watch ETF flows because something is definitely going on there. Spot crypto funds have raked in $40 billion so far this year, and any let-up in flows could signal lower crypto demand, which impacts price. And finally, watch the current trading range in Bitcoin, which has been in place since July from roughly 108,000 to the downside to 125,000 to the upside. And remember, Bitcoin is famous for its rug pulls and false breakouts, both to the upside and also to the downside. And tune into the Stocks in Translation podcast for more jargon-busting details.
All right, so let's go and look at TAOP and see where it is actually located. TAOP, oh, that looks like something crazy. Let's see, it's a People's Republic of China or something. Taoping. Come on. Taoping, bro. People's Republic, I promise, they have more stuff coming out of there. Oh my goodness, I hate this place. I mean, I don't hate the place. I just, when I see it, it makes my stomach bubble. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, People's Republic of China is cancerous. All right, so, yeah. Like I said, nobody real is buying up here. We all know that the real people buy dips if it's worth it. And this is looking like, looking real nasty there, but it's up over 1 million shares traded, 25% up and all of that stuff. If this is what people want to trade, then it is what it is. This one, XRTX, is starting to move like a barcode, so people are starting to take notice of TAOP. It's number 3 on the day right now, and then KZR again not really moving either. So TAOP, if this is where the focus is, we know the trash can is open and we can smell it. All right, so let's go ahead and mark this up here. So we hit a high up here of 409. And like I said, this is not one that I'm looking to trade, but it's one that I want to fail. This is one that I'm like, hey, let them play with their souls out here. I'm cool. If this thing were to rip to $56, I still wouldn't trade it. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Because I know what these, I mean, bro, I've seen the People's Republic of China. It's like a donation event when they come up, you know? It's like, oh, those folks out there, they need our money. They need it. Let's just go ahead and give them equal opportunity. Let's see what else we got floating around. Nothing really. And it's already back under 20% and dropping. So yeah, makes sense. I just hope it doesn't become the number, like, you know, a high number, on the day where people just like, oh yeah, we're gonna trade this one. All right, so let's go back over. That's okay. I just saw it pop up, wanted to get eyes on it just in case it was something good, but looks like it was just trash. All right, so back over here, let's see. Trump says threatened high tariffs on China are not sustainable. Of course, so he's probably going to work it back down. Um, let's see. Latest news: Ford recalls more than 290,000 vehicles in the U.S. due to issue with rear view camera system. Okay, so I guess you're looking at your camera system, you see Mickey Mouse jumping around. Probably need to take your car in. 5 things to know before the stock market opens. Okay, so I mean, if it was something really important, they probably would have headlined with the thing that was most important. American Express profits surged 16% in Q3, driven by the wealthy card members. What? Well, the S word, I don't even know. YouTube is kind of weird. So I'm just gonna say the S word is a big market for the AI industry. ChatGPT won't be the first to try to profit from it. Okay. Trump says threat. Okay, we already see that. SK Telecom's AI unit offers staff voluntary retirement program just weeks after launch. Porsche in talks to replace CEO Bloom with former McLaren boss. Bad loans. Ooh, what's going on with bad loans? That's interesting.
Well, shares of regional banks and investment bank Jefferies continue to slide in the pre-market. Fears are growing that there are some bad loans lurking on Wall Street. Yesterday, Zions Bank Corporation fell by over 13%, while Western Alliance and Jefferies both fell by over 10%. That weighed on the overall market, sending all 3 major benchmarks lower. And today in the pre-market, US futures are also pointing to a pretty weak start to the trading day. Overnight, shares across Asia also fell sharply, and Europe started the day firmly on the back foot. So how did this all start? Well, the bankruptcies of 2 auto industry-related companies this year have raised concerns about loose lending practices, especially in the opaque private credit market. This week's concerns all started on Wednesday evening when Zion said it faced a sizable charge because of bad loans to a couple of borrowers. Yesterday, Western Alliance added to all of this when it alleged a borrower had committed fraud. Well, auto parts maker First Brands went bankrupt last month, and Jefferies said that hedge funds it runs are owed $715 million from companies tied to First Brands, while UBS said it has about $500 million in exposure. Jefferies shares are down over 25% this month. Well, the banking industry and investors are now concerned that all these instances of loans gone wrong indicate a much deeper crisis. All this has come in a week when big banks have been in focus with their earnings reports. Well, here's Skylar Wynard, Chief Investment Officer from Regan Capital, with his take on the situation.
You have the very large banks that have come out, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, that have reported absolutely gangbuster earnings. Great trading revenue, NIMs increasing across the board, huge positives. Then you have regional banks that don't have the pricing power that the large national banks do, like a JP or a Citi. They've been really competing on the lending side. They've been competing against private credit, non-bank funders, et cetera. And they're giving out loans that maybe they shouldn't have been giving out. So you have a lot of surprises that have happened just in the last month. 2 bankruptcies, 2 to 3 large holes in their lending portfolios that are getting reported. So the reason banks are down 4% this day is that, this is not expected. And Jamie Dimon came out a couple days ago saying, hey, there's not just one cockroach. It's not just Tricolor. It's not just First Brands. Now we're seeing cockroach 3 and 4 now getting reported in the news today. So bank investors are starting to get nervous that this isn't just a canary in a coal mine, that there's a lot more to come about in terms of credit losses. And investors haven't had to worry about credit losses really for 10 years. They just started worrying about interest rate losses 3 to 4 years ago. Now they're starting to worry about credit losses as well. So especially on the regional banking front, investors are really nervous and are running away today.
Well, all right. Looks like we saw everything that they had for this point. So very interesting discussions to be had there. Let me look at the overall market over here. So NQ right now came back down and double bottomed at this 24 whatever. And a lot of times on Fridays, you expect big moves and things, but the thing is, a lot of times the market just sits and waits on Friday. There's no real news dropped, a lot of just, hey, we don't know what's going on. And, very, very rarely, I mean, in small caps, you'll see a crazy pop up and then you go read the news and realize that it's absolute trash, like TAOP, which is now down to 7%, right? So we saw it up here. Of course, nobody's buying up here because real traders don't buy up here. And then it dipped, right? So it dipped and we're seeing that it's absolute trash, back to 7%. So let me put up the watch list right now, what I'm looking at. Watch list. Yeah. Watch list, this one. So this is what the watch list is looking like. And everything here is only, there's only one stock here that's close to meeting criteria, which is KZR. But then when I go and look at it and look at what they're doing, I'm like, that's trash. So the one thing that I would trade that's over $5, I'm not touching that. And everything else is dead. So I'm gonna play defense today. If something else pops up that can give us that range, I want 30 cents per share. 30 cents per share is what I'm looking for per trade. So usually I'm getting either 30 cents or 2 to 3 to 4 times that. And if it's a really good stock, I might, like on that the one that I made that loss up on here. And let's just go back over here. So this month I had one. Where is the one? It was the beginning of the month. Yeah, right here. So I lost on Acon here, $369, and then I got in BQ return per share was $6.60 per share, 66 cents per share, right? Got in at $12, wrote it up to 18. This one was a $2 loss. This one was, look, $1.81, but I almost lost the same amount because I oversized on this. Now, if you look at this, my average entry was over $5 and all of that, but then I was selling way down here. I should have just sold out at 5. 5 is my kind of like my line in the sand. I was like, I'm gonna give it a little bit of room, and yeah, it took that room and ran with it. So yeah, 6.12 down to 5, that would have been just $1 something loss. Wouldn't have been that bad, but I just was holding and hoping. And I had a little winner. This is one of the outliers, and I oversized on this 400 shares into this $3 stock to get only $64. So that really, the risk to reward wasn't there. Lost on that one. Lost, and these higher price ones, to me, they're easier to do risk to reward, and they're easier to kind of trust the levels more, trust the supports and resistances more than the lower price ones. The lower price ones, they can shoot way through it, do a wick and slash you back down and stuff like that. I don't need all that in my life. I like my heart and blood pressure the way it is. So everything else you'll see kind of above $5 really is what I'm aiming for. So if I don't see that, I just stay away, play defense. But anyway, yeah, that's it for today. I got 10 minutes. I'm gonna be meeting up. We got another meeting today to crush, and then next week is gonna be a clown show. So I'm gonna be back on Monday morning. This morning was kind of crazy. I woke up and turned on the computer. Didn't have any issues last night, and then all of a sudden everything wants to update. But we're back on top now. We'll be back ready for Monday morning. Monday, beginning of the week, we want to figure out the topic on the week. If we can't figure it out, then it might just be continuation for AI and batteries. But you know, if there's a new topic, well, I'll be looking to attack it. So, but yeah, that's it for me today. And appreciate you guys for tuning in for sure. And as always, let's see. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.